Okay, and there's another common thing that we can create for our developers, and that is the table view. Let's assume that you want to create an iOS app for the poor stray cats looking for a home. And for each cat, you want to display a photo, its type, and the place it was found at. You use the power of stack views to make it look good in the cell, and now you think it's a good time to create it for the other cats. So you repeat the same process for the other ones, and so on and so forth. You even group them by adding a session header. And sadly, you realize that there are just too many stray cats out there. You simply won't be able to fit them inside the memory. But the clever you think of a solution. Since the user won't be able to see all the cats at once, you only need to load the cells that the user can see. But soon you realize this is still not fast enough, because for each cell object, you need to find a location in the memory that fits your cell. So how can you make it even better this time? Well, you look at a cell you built and think, the only difference between the old ones and the new ones are only the data in it. Why don't I just get the old ones and then swap the new data in and use it for the new cats? And the best of all, you can use this mechanism for the session title or footers as well. And in the actual framework Apple built, we also have something called the collection view, which is basically a more flexible version of the table view, where you can customize the layout, but also use the same optimization techniques we just mentioned. And that's one more piece of useful components inside our framework. Since it's a UI framework, why don't we just call it the UI kit? Okay, enough of abstract concepts, let's dig into some code. And what I'm gonna do inside this demo is that we're gonna recreate this layout right here all together. So let's go to Xcode. And right here, we have something called the UI view controller. This view demo view controller is a subclass of it. We haven't mentioned what this thing actually is now, but we're gonna talk about it after this demo. So inside the view.load method, this is basically a place where we will create all our views and do our layouts. So if you don't understand the code here, don't worry about it. We will talk about the Swift language in our next workshop. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'll create a stack view for this entire thing. So the first thing I'll do is actually before I create a stack view, I'm gonna change the background color of the root view so that you can clearly see where the stack view is and where everything, basically to make the separation a little more clear. So the view's background color, I'm gonna change that to, let's say, purple with some alpha components, say 0.1. So that this pinkish color represents the root view. Every view controller contains a property called a view, and that would just represent the root view. So the next thing I'm gonna do is to create a stack view that contains all the arranged subviews. So let stack view equals to a UI stack view instance. And we're gonna add that to the view trees or the layer tree. So the root view is gonna have the sub view, the stack view. And then now I want the stack view to be sort of in the center of the screen. So I'm gonna add two constraints. So remember that constraints not only can allow you to pin the location according to like top or bottom, leading, trailing sites. You can also pin it to something center. So, and also you can use it to adjust the size as well. So in here, I'm gonna use this method called activate and pass in an array of constraints that we would like to activate. And the first constraint I'm gonna add is the stack view center x anchor is gonna equal to the root view center X anchor, and the stack view center Y anchor is gonna equal to the views center Y anchor. You don't see anything gets added yet, and that is because we don't have anything inside the stack view right now, but we're gonna change that in a little bit. And also one more line we're gonna add is this thing right here. This very long name doesn't really make much sense right now. Basically what this line means is that we're telling our layout system to use auto layout instead of the lower level rendering methods. So, okay, now that we have the stack view ready, we're gonna add in these internal views. So the first one we're gonna create is the image view. So let's image view equals to UI image view. And because I don't have the image inside this project, I'm just gonna use a background color to represent that. So the background color of it is just gonna be, let's say, cyan maybe, or system cyan. So as you just saw that we have two different sets of color. One is just dot cyan, the other one is dot system cyan. So the prefix system basically means that this is a system color, and it will adapt to light mode and dark mode accordingly. So we will use some different contrast value to make sure that this color looks good both in light mode and dark mode automatically based on the system settings. So here we use the system cyan, and we're gonna constrain the size of the image view using the same thing up here. So that would be ns layout constraint.activate. We pass in the image constraints, image views width, let's say it's about 300 points wide and about 200 height. And we're gonna add that to the stack view. So stack view, add a range subview, image view. So as you can see, we're using add a range subview instead of add subview for the stack view. And that is because we're specifically telling this stack view that we are adding a view to its arranged subview array. And it should use the information that we are going to provide to lay out these subviews. So let's create the next thing, and that is the category label right there. So let's create the category label, and it's going to be a UI label. And category labels text is just going to be travel flock number 1. And the category labels text color will be secondary label. And we add that to the stack view. So as you can see, it's added it to the right side or the trailing side of our image view. And that is because we haven't specified the axes and the spacing alignments and all those kind of things of our stack view. So we're gonna do that right now. So the stack view's axis is gonna be vertical in our case. And the stack view should align all of the arranged subviews to its leading side. And the spacing between the elements is going to be around, let's say 8. 8 looks good. So after that's done, we're going to continue adding the next one. So the next one will be the title label, and that's also a UI label. So this is pretty much just repetitive work. Equals to beautiful BC. And we don't have to change the text color because by default it's going to be black in light mode and white in dark mode. Stack view, add arrange subview, title label, and there we go. And the very last thing we're going to add is the button. So we're going to create the button. That's going to be a UI button as you might expect. And the button, we're going to set its title to be favorites. Buttons, we don't have to change the color because by default it's blue already. So yeah, that's basically how we would do that inside code. We're just utilizing all the concept that we mentioned in the slices. So let's go through it again. Basically what we did is we created a stack view, and then we add the stack view to the root view, and we pin the stack view to the center of the root view using constraints. And then we create an image view. We specify the size of the image. We add that to the arrange subview arrays of the stack view. And then we create a category label, add that to the stack view as well. We create a title label, add that to the stack view as well. And finally, we're gonna add the stack views button to, we're gonna add the button to the stack view as well. And that's all we need.